Okay, here we have an Xbox 360 Slim. I'm going to show you how to disassemble it and reassemble it. We take off the vent cover for the hard drive and then the rest of the vent cover here. If you just pry it open from the side, it will come off. Then on the other side, you will need a screwdriver to pry it up and it will come off. Now there are tabs in these holes here, 3 on each side, on both sides of the Xbox. I'll show you in a second how to take them off. You just have to pry them up and pull the cover at the same time and they will come off. Just like so. You have to have something to stick in between the tabs and pry away from the Xbox, just like that. And keep a little pressure on it and pull away from it as you lift the tabs, and it will remove from the Xbox and the whole piece will come out. This one right here is a little bit difficult to find, but it is directly across from the one on the other side. It just doesn't have a hole, so you have to kind of reach behind the plastic there just to get to it. It may take just a little bit, but you will get to it. And that one comes off as well. Now just remove your hard drive. And then there are tabs also only on the back of the Xbox here, 2 on each side. One is difficult to get to. You have to pop a hole in the sticker here, directly in this location, slightly to the left and below the little circle symbol with the check mark. But once you press it in, it will separate the tabs. And this will show you a little bit better what the tabs look like down on the inside. All you have to do is get some type of tool, a flathead screwdriver, small screwdriver, in there and just lift up on the tab and it will separate just like that. Now you can lift the bottom cover off of the Xbox. Then flip it over and we're going to take the front plate off here. It just slides right out once the back is off. It has a blue ribbon here with a snap connector. Just release the snap connector, pull the blue ribbon away, and it'll come off. You can do this without taking that off, but I like to take it off. Now we're going to take off the 5 black screws that hold the top cover of the Xbox onto the casing of the Xbox. So let's remove all 5 black screws. I like to keep a magnet to keep my screws on here so I don't lose anything. Okay, now the top cover will come off and reveal the inside of the Xbox. Now all you have to do is lift up on the disk drive and disconnect the connectors on the back and pull it away from the board. Now the fan cover just pulls directly up and it's away from the board. The snap cover on the back, which covers the inputs, and this screw here holds the the hard drive mount onto the board. There is another one as well. The 2 screws for the RF connector need to be removed, and the RF connector is just a USB port that pulls away from something like a USB port, but it pulls away from the board. Now I like to mark all of these gold screws here with Sharpie or something so that you know which ones are the golds. Now the wireless adapter also has a gold screw, but you don't really have to mark it. That's the only screw that'll fit there. So we go ahead and remove the wireless adapter here by removing the screw. Pull it away. It is a USB. And then remove all of the other gold screws. Now there is this bracket here which fits directly underneath the disk drive. It has a little plastic square, so there's only one way it can go in, so you can just take that off and it will go back only one way. Remove the SATA connector from the hard drive bracket, and the hard drive bracket will come completely out. Just remove this yellow connector that also goes to that the connector on the hard drive bracket, and you can put that away. Now we flip it over and we're going to remove the 4 small screws from the X clamp that holds, this actually holds everything to the casing as well, so these have to come off. And I like to lift gently from the heatsink and fan, and it will pull the board away from the casing. just like that, and you can put the casing to the side. Now what we have is the X-clamp on the back. I've seen some use forks and things like that to get these off. It's just really simple. The same tool we've used to pry the whole time. Just put it at an angle and push in towards the heatsink. It will pop it off of the opposite side, and then once you have two sides off, you can just pull it off. Remove your fan connector and the heatsink will come away from the board. Now there's a lot of thermal paste on this. Whoever put this back together, I bought this one used, whoever put this back together put way too much thermal paste on this, so I'm glad I opened it up. We can remove some of that there, and then we're good to put our heatsink back on. Now we're going to reassemble this thing. So we put the heatsink back on, then we're going to put the X-clamp back on. This is easier to put on than it is to take off. Just put on one side and start pushing down the others. It will snap right into place. Just like that. So now we can go ahead and put the board back into the casing. It slides right in. Now we're going to put the 4 screws back on the X-clamp. This also holds the board to the casing so we can put our gold screws in with ease. Go ahead and plug your fan back up. Okay, go ahead and plug the yellow connector that goes to the hard drive bracket back to the board and put the bracket back in place. You can go ahead and plug the SATA cable back to the board. Get your disk drive connections out of the way as well. Now put this mounting bracket for the disk drive back into place. There is that plastic square piece that will fit right directly back into the casing. So there's only one way that goes in. And now we are good to begin to put our gold screws back into the board here. And the black marker from before, where we had marked it with Sharpie, helps us to know exactly where those go back into place. And don't forget about the gold screw here that holds the hard drive bracket in place on the back. And also the wireless adapter with its gold screw as well. Okay, we're good to put the RF board back on with the 2 small black screws that hold it in place. And we're going to snap the input cover back on. It's just two square slots there, and then push the bottom down and it just snaps into place. And then our fan cover, our fan housing, can go back in. It just fits right in there. And plug in your connectors to your disk drive. And the disk drive sits as far back as it can on the bracket there. You will see where it lines up there. Go ahead and put your cover back on, your top cover. You're good to flip it over so we can put the black screws back in. I'm going to go ahead and lay them all in place here. Make sure they all line up with the casing and with the cover, and just go ahead and tighten them down. There is one more other than these 4. It's off in the other corner. That is the last one. There are only 5. So go ahead and tighten that one down as well. We're going to go ahead and connect the blue ribbon back to the snap connector. Just pull it out a bit, push the ribbon in, and push the blue piece that holds it in place around the snap connector. We're good to turn the Xbox over now and put the back cover or the bottom cover on. These tabs snap into place very easily. Just go ahead and line them up and snap them in place. They will stay. And then we're good to line our faceplate up and snap its connectors in place as well. the tabs snap right into place. Okay, we can put our sides back on. Just line the tabs up. Just make sure the hard drive side has the hole there on it. Line the tabs up and push it down, as well as the other side. Then we're good to go ahead and put our vent covers back on. This one lines up by the pegs. There's only one way it can go on. So push it in place and snap it down. And the hard drive side, put the larger vent cover on, and then what's left is putting the hard drive back in and then snapping the hard drive cover on. And that's pretty much it.